said. Yeah, long time no see, Jig.
I know.
Was it draft night or did we talk after draft night?
It's been since draft night. I would definitely like to get a little more regular with these if we can.
I miss my brother.
Yeah.
All right,
Definitely would love to get a little more regular here.
Wait, since you're on a brand new system, tell me, can you hear this when I push these sounds?
Now I can, yeah.
Oh, man. So this whole time it was your system that kept you from hearing the...
You know what? I have a feeling it was my system, and I will be curious if we run into the screen freezing thing or if that goes away. Because honestly, I got this because my battery went out, like gone. And I'm wondering if that might have been what the problem was in the first place. I mean, it might have been internet.
Was a laptop from the 80s? Like, what are we talking about here?
No, it was only, I should say only. I think 5 years old is about when they go out, but that's how old it was. It's 5 years.
All right. I'm about to do our intro since we got sounds.
Let's go.
It's basketball time.
Rubber rim job. We lied. Our last episode, we said it was the end of the season. This is season 3, episode 18.
18.
Off-season special.
18 total.
Yeah, this will be our 18th episode this season.
You know what that means?
What does that mean?
We're legal.
We can buy. Did you go buy cigarettes as soon as you could legally, like at the gas station?
I had already been smoking cigarettes, man. You want to know something funny about cigarettes? I'll tell you something funny about cigarettes. I got something that I think is funny about a lot of things, but I have no idea whether other people think they're funny or not. But when I smoke cigarettes, first of all, we smoked that unfiltered bullshit. Did you smoke those unfiltered cigarettes?
Bro, I've never smoked a cigarette or anything like that. But
good for you.
I did go buy them at 18, but go ahead.
Well, you probably have an extra 5 years on me then. Automatically.
I've definitely done other shit to my body that you probably haven't, but go ahead by all means.
You know what? That's a good thing. Yeah. So we would smoke those gross unfiltered, I think it was camel something or other.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right? They were like unfiltered.
The ones they were smoking on like Mad Men back in the 50s.
Yes. Okay. They were disgusting. And so every night we'd go out and we'd just like we were smoking a joint or something. Like we didn't know what the hell we were doing, but like we just looked cool.
Right.
Cool. And so like the one night somehow I ended up with the pack of cigarettes, even though I never bought them or anything. Like my friends would just give them to me.
Right.
And make fun of me because they claimed that I didn't know how to inhale the cigarettes. Like that was a big thing. And I guess for the first 50 cigarettes that I smoked, apparently I wasn't inhaling properly. They're like, you're not inhaling.
You just putting the smoke in your mouth. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're not inhaling it into your lungs and slowly murdering yourself. So I learned. I was like, I'm killing myself.
He's like, holy shit, my lungs.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my lungs. I should go back to the old way. So I brought the cigarettes home in my you remember this, Abercrombie and Fitch camouflage cargo pants pocket.
All right.
Left my pants on the bed that night. Went to school. Came back home. What do you know it?
The rinse had gone through your clothes.
Cigarettes were still in the pocket, but they were slightly showing out, hanging out of the pocket. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I didn't leave them like that.
That sounds like a passive aggressive mom move, like a come clean. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to come to me and talk to me about it.
Didn't need to.
Okay.
They were showing, and you could see the box, and you could see the cigarettes were there. And I'm like panicking, like my heart's beating real fast. And I open the box and I look in there. All the cigarettes torn in half. Every one of them was torn in half. And I'm like, oh shit, that's not bad. I was like, that's pretty good. So I either come clean or we have just this sort of silent agreement that's like, I know what you did, you little fucker. And you can either just like not do this,
Right.
or we just kind of move on our own merry little way, and we've basically said, I caught you, and we're just moving on down the block.
I actually like that. I actually like that parenting.
It's good, right?
I like that a lot. I don't know
do too.
if Juice is joining us here. He's
Who's Juice?
Juice is loose. His name, I don't know if he meant to
yeah.
put that name up there or not.
Mhm.
Juice, if you want to change your name, let us know.
I saw Francisco Nabisco. God,
Yeah.
my hairline's getting high, isn't it? Look at that.
So I'm Akron, Ohio for my 18th birthday. For my 17th birthday, I went down the street to Cherry's Music and got D'Angelo Voodoo. I think I told you that story already.
Yeah.
Came out on my birthday. For my 18th birthday, I had money in my pocket. I was driving at the time, and I went down. I lived on the west side of Akron, like Merriman Valley. Went down the street on West Market to this little gas station, Citgo or whatever it was, and bought a pack of, I think it was Lucky Strikes.
Yeah, that would make sense. Old school.
Like $2.14. Just because I could, because my ID said I was 18, and when you go there and they got that thing right there, it's like if you're before this date,
Yeah.
like I had to do something to be like, by you turning 18, you're this now.
Of course.
I think I might have took him home just because at the time I was like beefing with my pops, because he actually was discouraging me from doing something stupid, which was I was like, I'm gonna get a credit card. Like I was just I wanted to
way
test.
worse than cigarettes.
I wanted to test,
much more long-term damage.
Yeah. I wanted to test drive this whole 18 thing. I was just doing stupid stuff. That's why when people talk about like Imani Bates and some of these young kids, it's like, man, it's hard to put it in perspective, because at the time I was doing whatever I could that was stupid just to test.
Oh, that's a good man.
So
man, that's a good point. Can we?
Yeah, I was doing stupid.
Can we visit that? Let's
bought
visit
cigarettes
this
and tossed them out just to do it, just to be 18. So
can we visit that for a second? I want to visit that for a second.
As long as you don't go into Mike Hall, but please, by all means.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I wasn't going to.
Okay.
Whenever people talk about athletes and like their behavior in general, first of all, people just love to talk shit online. We know that, right? Like,
absolutely.
I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know who these people are. I'm just like, you can't be real. Like, this person cannot be real. Like, I just imagine myself like meeting these people in person. Like where could I meet somebody in person who's so awful? Like in some of these Facebook posts, do you know what I mean? Do you ever have you ever actually clicked on somebody that said something so awful to somebody else just to see what they look like? Have you ever done that before?
I have. And I've actually, when I've seen people like online bullying, I've jumped in and like advocated for whoever, I don't care what it is. Like,
I have too.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, I have. I've gone and been like, man, this person is just really not happy. I've messaged people who were really not happy.
Have you?
And I've been like, hey, I hope you're having a blessed day. Like,
to the person who was being a dick, or to the person who was
like,
being bullied?
I'll inbox the person who's just being like a jackass.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
What happened?
Stuff like that.
What happened?
I've had people just flat out like block. I've had other people that like are like, man, nobody's asked me how I felt today. Like, you've had somebody say that? Yeah. So the main place this always happens is Twitter. Twitter, that's my social network of choice. But then Facebook and stuff, where it's like
Twitter
is like a cesspool now, like with all the paid stuff that's going on. But no, I'll do that. Like, but Twitter is like where celebrities and athletes jump in there and just like, I've had engagement with like Angel Reese and just like regular people.
Oh my God, that has to be heaven for you.
Talk back to you and just say things to you, like people. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is awesome. So all of that to say, no, I totally would jump in and talk to somebody if I'm like, man, because sometimes those people are like hurting and they just the way they know how to carry this out. But go ahead, I totally hijacked your young athlete.
No, to that original point though, yeah, some of them are, but then some of them aren't. Like, you know how bullies are. Some of them like aren't hurt, and some of them just like really just being dickheads to people. So every once in a while I've just like clicked on them. I'm like, what is going on in this person's like? What is this person like? And I like to try to like transpose them on like somebody else I know and see if their life is comparable to somebody else, just to like imagine, like, is this a real person? And like it's like because it's like so surreal to me that people like exist like that. Anyways, so I was just curious if other people ever do that, like if they actually click to see like if these people are actually like if they actually exist out there, which they do. Anyways, moving on. I sent you that Kevin Durant meme because he is like the ultimate guy who cannot handle the online bullying at this point. Like from a celebrity standpoint, he cannot deal.
So there have been a lot of highlights, a lot of lowlights, a lot of all of that in the Olympics. Kevin Durant, I think Kevin Durant has reached a place where he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him at all. And I
there's that too. Yeah. So okay, so
there's a mix. It's like a mixed bag.
Do you think it's what do you think it is? Give me the Kevin Durant analysis.
I honestly think that he went ultimate heel and he realized that he could not, no matter what he did performance-wise or anything like that, go back to being Golden Boy.
Definitely over.
And I think he's just like embraced it and just been like, like whatever, bring whatever you got my way. I'm calling out everything somebody says. Like once he got exposed for the double profile
double
thing,
accounts, sniper, whatever sniper,
easy sniper. Once he got exposed, he was just like, you know what, whatever. Like it's like that Scooby-Doo character when they pull the mask off.
Yes,
and that person is like, all right, there's
like
no
somebody
way
told him.
Yeah, there's no way I can go back. I would have got away with it. There's no way I can go back to my regular life.
Once he got Scooby-Doo, he's like, I'm sticking with. If only you kids.
I'm a bad guy. Let's just go with it.
So I don't know, right? I don't know what the exact psychology is going behind the screen. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out if it's because like he can't take it and he's playing the role of embracing the bad guy, or if like I don't know what's going on, but I am so here for it. Yeah. I love it so much because like we talked about this. I love the pageantry, man. I am all about these guys getting into fights with the fans. I don't care what anybody says. You can hate me, man, but when I watch that Malice at the Palace thing, I'm saying it out loud. I love it. I enjoy going back and watching it.
You like that they mollywop those fans away?
I love it. He got the wrong guy. Okay, that's terrible. That sucks. That guy might have had kids. He had a grandma, right? He probably had a nice.
Did you watch the documentary, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, I did too.
I did. He got the wrong guy. But listen, there's a reason we're all watching the damn documentary, and it's because it's exciting.
So I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna tie in your whole cigarette soliloquy. So there's a whole little clip online of the USA men's basketball team when they're like getting off of a bus, and half of the team is high as ass, like giraffe ass. Like, to be perfectly honest, they just had a smoke session. I don't know if they had it on the bus or what. And so Joel Embiid. So it's like a maybe 20-second clip. So you're gonna find it. Joel Embiid is standing there, and LeBron comes up next to him. Then Steph comes up, and LeBron, Steph, and KD are the culprits they got their bucket hats pulled down as low as they can.
Yeah.
They literally look like they're like, oh, look, I got 5 fingers. Like they're in the wind kind of thing. And you watch it, both Embiid and Anthony what's his name? Davis?
Anthony Davis? AD?
Yeah, AD.
The brow?
I'm so used to just calling him AD now. I'm like,
I know.
Like, what is his first name? Antonio? What is his name?
I know. Well, there was an Antonio.
Well, they were in France, so he's Antoine there.
Yeah, right.
Watching Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid both realize that these dudes are high as shit. And you watch their faces, because like if you know like your dudes have come around you where they're high or whatever like that.
Of course.
And there's like certain telltales when people are like, man, y'all couldn't invite me for the session,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
That kind of happened. So when you find this video, I'll send it to you. LeBron is definitely gone, and Steph is definitely gone, and KD for sure I think KD
KD
was
seems like he's always.
and started in Brooklyn. So when he got to Brooklyn with Kyrie, I don't know if Kyrie had him burning what was that you call what was that stuff? The stuff that you burned, sage. I don't know if Kyrie had him smoke sage or what. I don't know. But it feels like since he tore that Achilles and got to Brooklyn, he's just been like a tree.
Oh, because he was on the Dave Letterman interview. He was clearly. I mean,
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing,
he was out of his mind.
We're like one of the last generations of Dare kids, right? Like you remember?
Yes. Oh God.
When you're a kid. So we had it ingrained in our brains that it's absolutely terrible. There's no way you should even consider, looking or touching any of that kind of stuff and all this kind of stuff. Some of those myths and misconceptions have been so debunked about how there are certain health benefits and stuff. So I don't even look at it the same. Like when I see these athletes now that are like clearly trying to like take care of themselves better.
100%.
So when I'm talking about this, I'm not vilifying LeBron.
Oh, no, it's great. No, I'm glad they're having fun together, and they're hurting too. Like these guys, their bodies are killing them at the end of that whole thing. I'm sure they're feeling great.
We play like a year straight, and they're over there in Paris, where by all accounts, all the Olympians and stuff were talking about how terrible the conditions were.
Yeah.
People
like
in the river getting COVID just from touching the water, and
the Seine was like full of shit, literally.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to go to Paris, but I don't think I want to stay there for an extended amount of time. I think I just want to kind of pass through.
I have been there twice.
Okay.
I have actually been to Paris twice. I went there once when I was in 8th grade, and then once when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, it's Paris. Yeah. I mean, like, if
I'm going to magic to it? They call it City of Lights or City of Love, whatever they call it.
I think it is the City of Lights. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to come up here and be like, well, I was there in 8th grade and it wasn't impressive. I mean, it's fucking Paris, man. It's really cool.
Did you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it really wasn't. It's an amazing city. I mean, it really is an awesome place to go. I'd love to go there as an adult when I'm not like a kid being an idiot.
Sure.
You know what I mean? When you're a kid, it's like, with my like classmates, but it really is an awesome place. The architecture out there is incredible. There's so much to see. The food is awesome. But like I'd love to go out there now with like a completely different perspective with my wife. To be out there for the Olympics would have been incredible, man. Oh my God.
The crazy thing about that is, so you're like, it would have been incredible, but think about it. So like when the Olympics were here, like in Atlanta, or think of the parade for the Cavs and then magnify that.
You mean like, just it being a total crush?
Oh my God. Like it was like, I wasn't there for the parade. Like we had certain guys for the pod, like Juice and Ron sent me some stuff from it and stuff. So like over the years, people have sent me things from it that I was like, in my brain a little bit, I kind of feel like I made it there for that day. But from the photos,
I know what you're saying. You sort of like replaced it in your mind.
Yeah, you like in my mind, I'm kind of like, did I go to that parade? Because I
know exactly what you're saying.
I was hundreds of miles away, but from all of the accounts and from people who shared stuff that like wasn't on TV, it was hell. Like people were like hanging out like it was crazy. So imagine a city like Paris having that be what was happening during the Olympics.
I could see that.
Accommodations get
narrow too.
Like accommodations got stretched really thin, like for everybody with everything. There was a Olympian
hotels kind of suck too.
Man, there was an Olympian swimmer who was talking about they were in the Olympic Village, and as soon as you finish your event, you had to get out. But they still wanted to hang around. And so she was like, I think it's kind of good that we left the Olympic Village because there was a lot of shady stuff happening. And I was like, oh man, like I can only imagine how crazy it was. Think about it. Like the top athletes and like a lot of these people are like super attractive and us like fit and all this kind of stuff and just way too young. There's probably under 8. It's just crazy. Get out of there. Like So say all that to say, and then I'm like seeing all these clips of like Braun being accosted by random Travis Scott was arrested because he was
Travis Scott.
Yes. All these
Travis
celebrities
Scott?
Yeah, whatever Steph's wife's name is, she like
Aisha.
Police made her cry because they were like treating her a certain type of way. So
who made who cry? Aisha
the
Curry
police made Aisha Curry cry. Like they were doing something.
Who made Aisha Curry cry?
The police. So they were treating her some type of way, but it's like, I know you're a celebrity and you're this or you're that, but lady, get out the way, kind of thing.
Based on her in the finals, I'm glad to hear. I feel like lots of people make her cry.
It's kind of irritating. I wish Anna Horford had been there.
I just thought the same thing. I was like, was she out there crying too?
Let me see if this works. You hear that? You hear that? No, you didn't hear it.
What is it?
I tried our sound bank. Before season 4 starts, we're gonna have our sound bank working within StreamYard. So
yeah.
But so what else you got on the Olympics? And then we're gonna talk some guards and some Browns.
I want to throw out a couple Olympic moments that I found particularly exciting. I'll tell you what I'm not going to talk about. Let's talk about things we're not going to talk about.
That's how you talk about the things you're not going to talk about.
I want to tell you, I'm going to say some things that are off limits because I want to hear your top moments from the Olympics.
Oh shit.
Do you have any top moments? I'm gonna tell you mine, but I want to hear yours too.
I had a bunch of moments I loved. I was locked in on handball. I don't know if we talked about this or not.
Yeah.
Like completely locked in on handball.
I have not watched any.
Okay. But go ahead.
But I want to tell you some things that are off limits before you do that because I don't want you to do the off limits stuff.
It totally defeats the purpose because you're actually talking about it when you say I'm not going to talk about it.
I'm just making sure you don't talk about them.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the things you cannot talk about.
All right, let's talk about the stuff that we can't talk about.
You cannot talk about the guy who hit his penis
on the high jump thing.
On the high jump. You cannot talk about that guy. We're not talking about that. We're not
going to talk about him definitely having a contract with like West Coast Production as of now.
We're not talking about that part because that's totally out of line. We're not having any conversation about the guy whose dong was completely encompassed with high jump bar. We're not talking about that guy.
Not talking about that.
We're going to move off of that. Okay, so tell me about handball.
He totally won at life with that failure.
Did he not? I mean, that was
all over Twitter. Like right now, today, they're still talking about that event.
That guy will forever be talked about for that event. If you have to lose, that's how you got to lose.
That's how you lose because you are definitely winning.
You're winning.
I don't know if he's in his young 20s or what.
Yeah, you got to be young 20s, right?
Probably wouldn't get married for like 20 years after that. Like, because
he's got to be young 20s. You figure if you're in an event like that, he's probably young. Regardless, he's at the age where he's going out and he's got chicks talking about him all over the internet.
I probably wouldn't even leave Paris for a couple of years because
hell no.
There's going to be some wealthy duchesses and stuff like that are like, hey,
hell yeah,
bro, what are you doing?
Even he could go anywhere, and as long as he just wears that Italian bodysuit.
Dudes. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. A lot of those Olympic events require you to wear and put on things that there's no, like, I just wouldn't have been an Olympian. Like, that being one of them right there.
Yeah.
I'm very secure in my manhood, but some of these events, there's a picture of this Chinese, or maybe it was Korean swim team. I don't know if you've seen this, where they're all synchronized and they're lifting her up.
The girl.
But, yeah. And it like it was cutting her almost. And I was like, this picture should not exist. So
that's got to be what it's like moment to moment when they're swimming, right? I mean, I guess it's just a matter of whether you take a picture of it while it's happening.
So there were so many moments that were like that. And because we're in a social media era where everything goes viral so quick, like
it's been happening all the time every year. We just got shots of it now.
Man, it's so crazy. I think for the next month, we're going to be disseminating and breaking down some of these viral moments from the Olympics. So there's that guy.
We're not talking about him.
Which we're not going to talk about. Then there's Of course, the Olympians. So, like, I do a podcast for 501. I might be dyslexic because I'm always mixing up 501c 501c3. C3. Thank you. I do
With
a
the C
podcast
in between the numbers.
with the 501c3 for brain injury. We've talked about this, and we just did our initial episode. And during the episode, I got to interview the girl who finished 10th overall for Miss Florida just now, less than a month ago. And she also is Miss Winter Haven, I think, for this year.
I know Winter Haven, yeah.
So she was a part of it, but she was a part of the episode. She told her whole testimonial about bouncing back from a brain injury. And then she got into all of the events and stuff because she's like really tall and she like a former athlete and all this kind of stuff. She told the story of the whatever they were called, perseverance, and all the gymnastic girls who were on this podium of perseverance. They all overcame something major. So like, Gabby had anxiety or depression, whatever she had. Another one of the girls was like a cancer survivor, all of that. And so there's a whole story behind it. There's a hashtag with it. And that moment where they all kind of like were uplifting each other and stuff, that was like a viral moment that I thought was really awesome. I've talked to my girls about that just on a serious note, but handball is my shit coming out of this.
I didn't watch any of it. It's cool though, isn't it?
Man, you know how some people are like, I can't get into cricket. There's certain sports that I'm just like, yeah, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how much I try, I don't know if it's the announcers and how they flip out and how they yell and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cricket just doesn't do it for me.
Throwing handball? For me. Can't do any of the throwing.
Yeah, me either. Stuff that's like non-contact usually that doesn't do much for me. Handball is like, I don't know what happened or where it came from, but remember the 80s when they used to have rollerball or roller derby?
Oh man, I loved roller derby.
You remember that? Like when we were kids?
I loved roller derby so much.
They would like Friday and Saturday nights, they would have roller derby before like wrestling and stuff.
I was just gonna say it was like wrestling meets it was wrestling meets roller skating.
And I just remember like they would have girl teams from different cities, and they would go up there and they would fling each other and they would have cannonball, like they would like
I loved it.
Catapult each other and they would push them over the rails. And I was like, yeah, like
it was awesome.
It was awesome. Take that, mix that with basketball, and then mix it with like rugby. And that's handball. And so
that sounds amazing.
For both women and men, like they're like, I found myself locked in on the sport every time they were competing. Like there was I can't remember who ended up being the champion, so I guess I shouldn't be the gold medal winner. But like Germany was really good. They had this dude that was like their leading captain, but he was also like a mid-strikeman who was just like moving bodies around, but also like, they had
how big of a surface is it? Is it an outdoor or indoor sport?
It's indoor. It was like it's the size of like a it literally looks like a basketball court, but also a rugby field. Like it's like a mix. Yeah, it's the size of a basketball court. And it's just, instead of it being like a hoop that you shoot up into, it's like a soccer goal or like a hockey goal with a goaltender.
Do they run around and pass it, or they're dribbling rules or anything?
They're passing to each other. They had to do a certain amount of dribbles before you had to get rid of the ball. They were doing like weaves and stuff. Some of the people like had crossovers. They breaking people's ankles and shit.
That actually sounds fun as hell.
It was fun. Like if you go to YouTube, you'll pull up handball, but there also was a level of physicality to it where they were beating the shit out of each other. Like
this sounds amazing. I cannot believe I missed it.
Yep. So I'm like, if there's a league, I would go to like a handball game. Like,
would you play it?
I don't think I would play it because like that's just like with rugby or some of these other things. Like I would just start fighting somebody. Like yeah, so it was fun. It like if you get a chance, go look it up. That was my Olympic highlight. I literally fell in love with handball, and I was watching it more than I
love that. Yeah, we kind of talked about that. How you like to keep like an open. You try to watch everything.
Every Olympics, there's a sport that jumps in there, and that was handball for me this year. So it's like dodgeball meets basketball, and then those other sports I talked about. there was definitely a dodgeball feel to it. Like I'm like, is Vince Vaughn and all them dudes going to like run out here?
Wrenches out here.
Yeah.
I did. Running has always been where it's at for me. I find running to be supremely exciting sport. I don't know what it is. Like when I think Olympics, I always think running.
Yeah.
I thought that whatever it is, I think that this is kind of universal right now. Women's sports are getting really, really exciting.
Very intense.
I was super tuned into the women.
Yeah.
First of all, they're fucking beautiful. Our women's running teams are gorgeous right now.
Gabby.
Did
you fall in love with Gabby? I feel like everybody in the world fell in love with Gabby.
She's number 2 to me, man.
Okay.
She's honestly, she's number 2 to me. Sid's number 1.
Got it.
But yes, oh my god, man, those two are like hypnotizing.
Dude, there's this really, really dark girl from Ireland. And I'm about to tell you her name so that she looked like a goddess.
They're just like, plus, honestly, it's like Olympic time. It's like the way they're built is like, you're like, what? Like, like wow, how?
Rasadat Adeleke.
Okay.
I'm gonna text you this girl. She looks like a Barbie. She looks like
that's what they look like.
She's like she was made in like the clouds or something. It's like, why is this girl competing? And please stop competing.
In those particular races, in the 400 and the 800, that's exactly how they look. It's ridiculous. So, anyways, beyond all that,
we totally just like devolved into something.
Yeah, hey, comes with the territory. They're doing the same thing with the men. All right, come on. So beyond all that, they are just so fast now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sydney ran a 47 something, and the girls ran 49s in the relay. And did you watch the 4x400 by chance?
Yeah. Yes. I don't miss track and field. I was so locked in on that. Yes, I did.
There was by the time Sid can't. Wow. By the time. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Like this is like, wait, what is happening here? This is unreal. But all right, that didn't.
Yeah, I'm in 100%.
Ghanaian by way of Ireland, but I was like,
that's a mix.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's a mix.
Yep.
I have not seen your brother anywhere, babe. I don't know where he is. But yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome just because I was laughing. I mean, I was laughing by the time she got out there because they were so far ahead. I mean, it was funny because when the camera panned, you couldn't see anybody else on the camera because she was so far out in front. And by the time they got out to the third leg, it was over like a little league baseball game.
Yeah. It was like, right, y'all can just stop running now because
it's over.
Yeah,
but no, so that was cool. I thought that was really fun. And then that mile, I can't believe I don't remember the guy's name right now. Oh my God, what was our guy's name?
Noah Lyles.
No, Lyles was the 100-meter. Holy shit, what was our guy's name? Our mile runner that
I know what you're talking about.
Lane. He was boxed in, and then he won that mile race on the inside lane. Oh my God,
Quincy Wilson.
No. Quincy was 800, I think. No, hang on. Because Nagoose came in second and ran an also incredible race. So Nagoose got silver, and our gold finisher was Cole Hocker. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing races I've ever seen, and definitely the coolest mile I've ever seen. So that was awesome. Quincy was an amazing finish too. I love it when you get somebody coming from way behind. They gotta demonstrate so much gas at the end of those races.
Because we're like, so we've talked about our athletic exploits and stuff. There, like when I played soccer, by the time we got to that, whatever it was, 59th or 60th minute or whatever. And it's like, you got to dig in somewhere and pull out. Like, you run out of gas. You literally run out of gas. And then if you are able to sum up enough to give yourself that advantage, it's like, where did this even come from?
Got to find it.
And there's something that's about like this, a will that gives you that extra little juice. When you cross that finish line or when that final horn goes off and people collapse, I've been there before. Like where I was
absolutely.
Like, I don't even have to walk.
Seeing that. That's what I'm in it for. I'm in it for those races where you see guys do that because you're like, that's different. Like that is mental. That's a whole different thing. That dude was in the zone. So I'm like, I like those. And then I like their swimmer. Honestly, I can't remember his name because I'm not a good swimming guy who set the world record in the 1600 free. So those were the big things to me.
Those are your big time Olympic moments. All right.
Those were my big time Olympic moments.
I had I got a hating moment. And so we're transitioning now.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. We're transitioning from our Olympics over to the football field. And so, we just had our Hall of Fame game, Bears and the
oh God.
I don't remember who they played. It was a terrible game, but I think they even stopped the game before it was over because of weather or something. And nobody batted an eye.
Mm-hmm. No.
But one of the reasons I believe they chose the Bears because Devin Hester went into the Hall of Fame, which I don't know how I feel about that because at the same time Devin Hester was getting his kickoff returns and stuff, Josh Cribbs was down.
Josh Cribbs.
Doing it for the Browns. Yeah. It's just Hester did it like on a level. Hester, and then there was somebody for the Chiefs too.
Dante Hall.
That's right. There was a bunch of dudes.
The human joystick.
Yeah, the human joystick. Hall, Hester, Cribbs. I'm missing a name that was a punt. Cribbs was a punt returner that was doing it.
Cribbs was both.
Yeah.
And he played a little offense. I mean, he's.
Oh yeah, no. As a receiver, he was burning cats. He just when he hit a certain gear and he's
a Hall of Famer.
He had that straight up and down run. You weren't touching him.
He's a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
So I was hating because Hester. I feel like if Hester went in, Cribbs should have went in with him. Like, and probably Dante Hall too. Like they've literally changed the game so that this year
there is one more returner that we're not.
Yeah, there's a name that I
did
feel
the Chargers have a guy?
I want to. Was it Sproles? No, Sproles was a.
Sproles was a returner, actually. Yeah, but
maybe Sproles
was mostly a running back.
In those early 2000s or mid 2000s, for those couple of years where it was like these dudes are literally impacting the standings.
They were.
There was about 4 or 5 guys across the league that you were like.
Cribbs had to impact the standings because he was the only player we had.
Because the rest of the team, like Joe Thomas, it was Joe Thomas and Cribbs.
Do you remember that stretch where the Browns could only successfully draft linemen?
Man.
We had no good skill players. We could not get anybody at any skill position, but we were just nailing lineman after lineman.
So I want to say this though. I do want to say this because I've got the fever. I've got so there's two different sports right now that I've got. Guards with their pennant race is everything for me. They got the best record in baseball. And then the Browns gearing up, and it does not feel like it's felt. The thing that worries me the most is the national media is starting to give them a lot of love and respect.
The Browns?
Yeah. They're like,
last time this happened, Jim Rome called them America's team.
They're like they're destined. People are like, no, so many pundits and even like talking heads are like, of the top 5 AFC teams, if you don't have Cleveland in there, you're hating kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But those same pundits are mostly saying that they're the second behind the Bengals, which to me is crazy. Bengals and Ravens. So anyway, when Josh Cribbs, when he hit that gear and he was running straight up and down, there was no touching him. We talked a week or so ago about Nick Chubb being our favorite Brown.
Yeah.
I got a confession for this episode right here.
What do you got?
I'm pretty sure David Njoku has overtaken Chubb as my favorite Brown now.
Njoku?
I think so. I so there was a thing I read this morning. This national guy who is like a tight end whisperer. And he's like, I got some rankings for, I've watched 600 hours of film from last season, and I got every tight end in the league ranked. And he had his of course, because he wants to be controversial, the top two, he had Kittle over Kelsey. But he talked about, I've got to penalize Kelsey because he doesn't do any blocking anymore because his body, he's 30, whatever, 5, 30, whatever he is.
Is he
Can't
that
do
old
it.
now?
Yeah, he's up there. Can't do it like he used to. And literally we're at the end where he's just a tight end in name, but he's really a number one wide receiver for them still.
Right.
And he talked about Kittle's blocking and everything that he does for San Fran.
Okay.
And he's like, he's at the top of this thing. He's like, but number 3, where this discussion really starts, David Njoku.
No shit.
And oh man, all the comments and the thing, people were so upset.
Freaking?
Man, he's not better than Sam Laporta, and there's no way Njoku's over Mark Andrews, and all, like everybody just falling out because they feel like their tight end is better than David Njoku. The dude had stats, and he also had video.
He does have stats, and he's had some big ass games too.
Man, because you remember the first 3 or 4 years for him before him and Kevin Stefanski finally had a come to Jesus moment. Njoku had the dropsies a lot.
He did have the dropsies.
He just didn't commit to setting that edge as a blocker and things the way they needed him to. Dude, last season, Njoku was like, I don't know if it was because of Joe Flacco. I don't know. But he was one of the top.
It seemed like it was because of Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
It did seem like it was because of Joe Flacco.
Flacco loved Njoku. He was Njoku and Cooper. He got both of them dudes.
Wow.
Like he was spoon feeding both of them dudes.
Because Flacco took the hell off. I want to say he had a couple big games before Flacco came along, but as soon as Flacco was in there, he was.
I feel like before Flacco, we would see Njoku, but he would be waiting on the ball to get there, and then he wouldn't be able to do as much run after the catch. As soon as Flacco got there, it was like he perfectly found him in stride. Yep. He got him running, and just there was some of that had to be scheme and play call. And so I hope that that's what they intend to do with him this year too, because dude is one of the top, without a doubt, one of the top 5 tight ends in the league. And so,
he's absolutely top 5. Like there's
interviews too, Jig. Like I want him on the mic for us as a team because he gives us swag.
He does have swag.
So, my 2 favorite interviews throughout this whole preseason so far: David Njoku and Grant Delpit on the other side of the ball. Grant Delpit is hilarious. Like
is he? Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him.
He just you'll find clips and stuff. He's always getting people.
Don't know what happened there. Oh, this is still live. Well, we'll have to see what happened to my buddy.
There you go. You good?
Lost you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if it's my internet. I think it is. So hopefully, yeah. I think the stream is still running. So hopefully, we don't have too many hiccups with the stream.
The stream is definitely still running. I left it go.
Okay.
So you should be good to go. You'll just have me sitting here waiting on you for a minute.
I joined it a couple times and I was like, wait, where's Jig at? I think I was still talking on the stream. I don't know.
I was here. So we should be good.
All right. I was talking Grant Delpit and I was
Grant
talking.
Delpit.
Yep.
Which one is he? Maybe I've seen him in some of these things.
No, you're not serious. He's the safety. He's got braids.
Well, no, I know who he is. I'm just curious. Oh, I have seen him in some of those interviews. I just didn't know it was him.
And he's funny because like he makes people who don't want to joke and stuff, he pulls them into his interview.
He's one of those guys. Yeah,
he's one of those guys. He's got a lot of personality. He's Delpit is making, he's making Emerson come out of his little box. He loves picking on JOK. We got to talk about his extension before this episode is over.
I love JOK, man.
Oh man, that's so. I love the defense the most, but David Njoku is my favorite Brown right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Delpit on the defensive side is my favorite guy over there. I'm happy that Maurice Hurst is like this team is stacked, Jig. Like this is.
What do you think of the addition of our new assistant?
Talking about Vrabes?
Yeah. What do you think of the Vrabes? You think he's going to make an impact?
So we titled this thing Jhonkensy, Jameis, and the Olympics. We've got to touch on Jameis, but I do believe Vrabel's making an impact already. Like I look for him on the sidelines in every practice, every clip, everything. Because I think this dude, he got to a place in Tennessee where he was like, man, I'm losing love for the game. Like with the ownership just would not give him the resources to compete and contend. And he was like, it was basically like they were like, here's this old 80s Chevy with 300,000 miles, drive this across country. And he was making it work. He was getting across the country, but he was having to, basically hold it together with glue and tape. Here, he's like, I can go back to like this positional guy. He's locked in on helping our defense. So like there's like one of his pet projects has been David Njoku's blocking, but then he's also, they say, locked in on Devin Bush, linebacker from the Steelers, who his career has just not gotten off the way he wanted to. A lot of it has been his recognition, his run pass recognition, the react time and stuff as a linebacker. And in that first game against Green Bay, he looked awesome. Like, so if all we do is attribute Devin Bush, his production this year, David Njoku becoming a better blocker, and whatever he does on the sidelines, Vrabel's already a win-win for me. I love Vrabes. You can't. I've loved him since I saw him playing for New England, and I was like, man, I just felt like he's going to be a great coach.
Same, I did too.
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Winston, and those weird ass workouts of his.
He's just so he's the opposite of what we just talked about with Kevin Durant. With Kevin Durant, when the mask came off, when Scooby and Shaggy put off his mask, he went even more evil and was just like, whatever. When they pulled off his mask in Tampa, he had all this pressure on him. Number one guy, stole the crab legs, Heisman guy. But he couldn't get above 500. He just for whatever reason, it was like, I don't know if his processor wasn't working as fast as it should. Arians was asking him to be Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, but really he's just a slinger who, to this day, like watching him against Green Bay, he can throw that thing. He can throw that pill. He just, as an elite quarterback, he doesn't have the processor to say you can do this or you should do this at this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. He has everything else when it comes to like galvanizing guys. He's leading the huddle. The stuff that we were like, man, is Deshaun Watson ever going to do this? Winston does it already, and he's happy to do it as the number 2. He's probably by the end of the season, I'm going to be like, man, Jameis Winston is my favorite Brown right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing what Tristan did for us when he came back. He's just like,
perfect comparison. That's the perfect comparison.
He's putting his arm around guys who don't talk. He's making people, like, every time he's meeting people at the sideline as soon as they come off the field, like he's one of the top coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just everything about Jameis. Like I love.
And he will ultimately be a coach whenever this is all over, because his past as a crab leg thief fortunately did not write his future.
No.
Because I think
certain guys can bounce back from stuff like that.
Yeah, I think his sense of clearly it turned out he was a funny, well-mannered guy. I mean, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe there's more to the story, but he seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
And
Jameis
he's
Winston
clearly
was definitely not Jamarcus Russell. They
No.
tried to make him that. He was not.
And he was not. I mean, he seems to be a good dude. He's very well liked, and he's obviously very talented, and he's won a lot of games. But yeah, I mean, I like him. I still to this day am a Watson hater. I don't see myself getting off of that. I don't see myself moving from that position, even if he wins a bunch of games.
Yeah.
It's just where I stand. I think I hope he wins games, but man, the guy he's been such a I can't remember a more disappointing Brown. He's been more disappointing than Manziel from my perspective, simply because of how much money he's been given.
He's not more disappointing than LaCharles Bentley, where
oh my God,
he never took a single snap, and they spent all that money, and he was like up there crying because he was so happy to put on a Brown uniform, and literally never took a snap. But I hear what you're saying. I can't help but root for this dude. Like, yeah. So I'm because every time you get on Deshaun Watson, he's such a galvanizing figure, right? People either love him or hate him. They want to crucify him and vilify him still for this or that, or they want him to bounce back and stuff. So we're on the opposite ends of the Deshaun Watson spectrum. There was a point in time, Jig, and I'll never forget it. Houston came to Cleveland, and there was no way. I think Houston had already thrown the red flag on that season.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill O'Brien was coaching for his job. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun Watson, he was just like single-handedly was keeping them in the game. I was like, there was a couple of 3rd and 16s and 18s, and I was like, what is he? He cannot be making plays right now. You know, like I truly believe
he was incredible that season.
I truly believe that they never fully tailored the offense to use his gifts. And I believe that they're committed to making sure that that's done this year. I think the offensive overhaul with AVP, even Callahan leaving with his zone block scheme and everything like that. I do believe they're going to tailor it to try to get the most out of Deshaun Watson that they can. So, but whether or not the rest of the team, they're so loaded in the way that they're built.
They're so loaded.
Last year's team, before like Flacco pissed his leg against Houston, I truly believed they had they could have went to the AFC Championship with their 6th quarterback.
Oh yeah.
That whole team is back. That entire team is back.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And they're going to have like one of the top maybe 3 running backs in the league back at some point in time during the season.
Right.
So, like
top 3? What do you mean top 3?
Christian McCaffrey for sure. You know,
I'm teasing. We don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah. Because there was a point in time when CMC was in Carolina still. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But once he got to 49ers and they started using him, I was like, yeah, no, this dude is a beast. He's crazy. So we got that, and I'm fully locked in right now. What's your biggest right now takeaway or the thing that you're most excited about going into week 2 of the preseason for the Browns?
God, I got to be honest with you. When it comes to preseason, I just want to see these guys. When the team is this loaded, no injuries.
Just stay healthy.
When the team is this loaded, no injuries. I'm Amari Cooper's a good soldier, so I don't think that him not getting traded is going to be a huge issue. I mean,
I was super torn on that, Jig.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that didn't work out because, I mean, they kind of, I guess, failed to get a pretty damn good player. But I mean, Amari's a damn good receiver, man, and they used him really well last year.
Yeah, they say there's a tricky thing about putting the toothpaste back in the tube and stuff. I don't think that's going to be an issue with him.
I
like
don't
that?
either. No, I mean that's kind of what I'm saying is he's a good soldier, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But it was just something that popped into my mind. I'll be watching him this year. I really want to see them use him well, but I guess it's already a foregone conclusion. We're not getting him back next year, huh?
So for that, I don't know. I do
That's
know
the
there's been
assumption.
a bunch of stories where that's happened in Cleveland sports, right? Where
Right.
for the Tribe, we've had guys that it was like his ticket is pretty much punched. I thought Josh Naylor was going to be out of here by now. So we're going to use that to segue to transition into talking about the guards because it's been amazing. There's a couple guys on that side of things that have been like reclamation / just overcoming some stuff. I thought Jose Ramirez was going to be out of here at one point in time. Like I thought for sure that he was going to price himself out of staying with the guards.
He's
And
the ultimate case of a stay-at-home dude.
there's
Ultimate in sports.
in this last few weeks, so it was tough coming out of All-Star break because they hit the wall for a minute. The same wall that the Phillies are smacking into right now. The Phillies are like, I want to say they're 10 games under 500 since
I'm looking right now. I'm on my phone looking all this up, and I'll tell you.
Phillies are
It's still,
crazy. Like since the All-Star break, it was us, them,
Phillies
and
have
they're
lost 4 and they're 4-6 in their last 10.
4-6 in the last 10. If you went out to like 15, I think they've lost even more than that. They've been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that started with the guards because the guards actually put them in their place. They did the same thing with the Orioles too.
Mm-hmm.
And that those two series were like, okay, these dudes are legit, like that, like really legit. Like come postseason, even though we're putting this rotation together with like Scotch tape,
Right.
Like our ace as of right now is Lively, I would say. But I'm like, bring it on. Like I'm like the way that these dudes are hitting, the way that this team is playing, the way that they as a cohesive unit. And if Joan, how do you say it?
Jhonkensy.
If he's legit, like we finally got an outfielder who can hit with some power.
Mash.
First time in like 20 years. Like what? Like I think I heard something. They said the last time we had an outfielder who could hit 20 home runs was Michael Brantley, like 10 years ago.
God, and he only did that how many times? I don't even know how many times he hit 20, but yeah, like consistently hitting 20. Been a long time.
We've been a lollipop guild when it came to outfielders. And
Big time.
Every time we got into a series with like the Yankees or somebody who actually
no power.
It was like, oh man, this is like, why are we doing this?
We have power this year, and it really is the pitching staff. Good news. Cobb went out tonight. He's out of the game, but he pitched 5 and a couple, and he only gave up 1 run.
Okay. Yeah.
And he got 3 Ks, so he had a really good start. I can't remember if you have to get 6 innings for a quality start, but I'll put in quotations, he had a really good quality start. I mean, look, that's what you want to see out of these guys, right? Because I mean, it's not like these are guys that we were expecting to throw out there, at the beginning of the season. These are our Scotch tape and Staples dudes.
There's something to vote as a manager, the way that he inspires these dudes and he's getting the most out of them. So like the current conversation is if he's going to make sure that Jhonkensy is an everyday guy. So since we traded for Lane Thomas, he's been struggling a little bit.
Big time.
But that happens, right? Like
yes.
There's been so many deals that we put
especially
off
when a guy goes from one league to the other.
Yeah. And it takes, he came out, I think the first 2 or 3 games he was hitting like crazy, but it was like an adrenaline thing, like after you have an injury and you're in shock and you like, I'm just play through it. And then when you actually sit down for a second and you look and you're like, oh, that broke the skin. And it's like, then you're like, okay, I need
guys when they go from one league to the other consistently struggle.
Yeah.
This has been explained. I can't remember why it is.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely a
always
consistent thing. Yeah, it is a consistent thing.
Josh Bell, when we traded for him from, I think he was he with the Padres, or he was definitely in NL West.
Yeah. You know who
And
the
then-
ultimate was? Ellis Burks.
Oh,
Ellis Burks like
oh man, I
fell
heard
out
that
of the
name in
league.
so long.
Well, he like fell out of the league.
I
He
remember
had
that.
some. I remember he had some number. It was an absurd number. It was
He wasn't
like,
even a pro baseball player anymore when he got here, and it was like, what just happened? Like, what?
or Kevin Mitchell. I want to say they might have been the same season. They were some. It was
Ellis
some
Burks. I haven't heard that
horrible
name.
combination.
Yeah,
Was it 97? I think it was 97. They were both.
but it never
They were both-
happens. Like whenever we trade guys to the other side, they always like take off. Like, why is that? Like, I'll never forgive them for Brandon Phillips. Like, I was like, we knew this dude was going to explode like this. Like, why? Like, he had issues while he was here. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
I'm trying to think who was the guy who was an MVP candidate who got here. It was a couple years ago. I think he came from Toronto. McDonald or something like that. I can't remember. But that interleague guys switching leagues and stuff. Who?
Encarnacion.
Oh, yes, right. Encarnacion. That's right.
Encarnacion. I think my voice went out a little bit.
And it was like, wait.
Yeah, Encarnacion. That was.
I remember that. Yep. And it was like, wait, what?
So it was not Burks. It was Kevin Mitchell that I was thinking of.
I remember the name Ellis Burks though.
Ellis Burks played well with us. I was definitely thinking of Kevin Mitchell, but there was somebody else that played horribly along with Kevin Mitchell back in 1997. Somebody else might be able to come up with it, and it was like hilariously awful. Like they were batting like 87 for a while at the same time.
It definitely wasn't my boy Matt Williams at the time.
No, he had a pretty good season.
Travis Fryman coming over from the Tigers
also had a pretty solid season.
Yeah, there were a bunch of guys in there, and then there were dudes who in that range at 97 through 99, 2000. Did you see Grady Sizemore is the manager of the Chicago White Sox?
I did see that.
That was kind of weird to me because I hadn't even seen his face in a while.
Me neither. It was weird, wasn't it?
It was like, oh wait, he looks the same, but he looks like older, kind of, and he's managing the White Sox.
It was very odd. It was definitely odd to see him come up like that, but good to see. I mean, it was not like the way he fell off, it was not like his fault. It was all injuries. So, it was just one of those situations where it was like, oh man, it's good to see this guy back.
He had a way that he played the game. It was like a kid, and you just like watching him out there. It was the same thing with what's his name with the Mets now? Our guy that everybody's loving to hate right now.
They do love to hate old
Lindor.
What's that?
Lindor, Frankie Lindor.
Frankie.
Yeah. It was the same way that Lindor approached the game. It was just like, man, you just like watching him out there because he's having
fun,
doing what he loves to do.
He's having fun. Absolutely.
Injuries caught up with Sizemore, but there was a period of time there. Brian Giles, Richie Sexton.
Richie Sexton.
Yep. Bunch of dudes that were outfielders, and we because we had guys like Juan Gonzalez, David, we had dudes that were just cycling through that we were just like, we got too many dudes. We got to, Grover was like, I got to throw some of these guys away. And the younger dudes would go somewhere else and be like all-stars that like broke through. And I was like, man, why did we keep this old?
Why didn't we keep this dude?
Yeah. So we're not doing that now though, because an example of that would have been like, if we would have like held on to like Josh Bell or something like that and dealt Jhonkensy before he like started showing that he's actually on the precipice of becoming an everyday masher like he is. So, down the stretch here, it's going to be fun to watch these dudes because they're playing for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it seems like they get hit in the mouth, they bounce back.
They come back. They keep coming back. It looks like they got a pretty good shot to win this one tonight. They're not going to throw. They're not going to throw Class A tonight. I can't imagine it'd be like 5 in a row.
5 in a row, yeah.
I want to say something about Class A. Just I'm sure people realize this, but he's having probably top 3 closer season of all time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dude is still young, man. That's crazy to me.
He is young. I would say this is a top 3, at worst top 5 closer season of all time, just from the standpoint of his dominance.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he's got a .64 ERA, and his conversions are insane. I mean, just absolute insanity. The runs that he's given up too, and they don't count against you in your ERA, as
Yeah.
far as I recall. When you give him up in, I think the guy that you give up on second base in extra innings, I don't think counts against you.
Right.
I don't think in ERA, but I think a couple of the runs that he did give up were that guy. But I mean, just his Ks, his save rate, he has been incredible this year. He just added, looks like he might have added a new pitch too.
Yeah. I think the last 2 years in the All-Star game, when he on that national scale, like on that national stage, when he just stepped up there
White
and
dudes out.
just shut dudes down, everybody was like, okay, this is our current Rivera. Like this is the closer in baseball right now.
Yeah, because he's not only throwing like 100-mile gas, like he's
Right.
throwing 100-mile gas and like wiping dudes out. And if he did in fact add a new pitch, which it does look like he did, then it's got a whole new situation in our hands. I just hope he stays healthy. But yeah, I mean there was
26 years old, by the way.
26. So
Yep.
there was a kid from the Royals, Britain, had a season. Jonathan Papelbon, Eckersley, and then I would say what's his name? The fat dude from the Angels.
The fat dude.
The fat dude from the Angels that had that really epic showdown with Bonds. I can't remember his name. I think it was him. Anyways, I think he's top 3, top 4 seasons of all time. He might end up with the best closer season of all time, or he'll be in there. So we're really watching something special right now.
Yeah, no, we are, and it's easy. You know how when we were going through that Lofton, Baerga, Bell period of time, and it was just like, oh man, how good can these guys be? And you knew that you were watching something that was like,
yes.
I want to be present for it. We're there now, and you know, like we're on the board. There's, you know, everybody's talking about, oh no, we're setting this up for like the next year or for this or that. Like,
I don't know, man.
It feels like these dudes are here.
They have the best record in the whole fucking league.
It's like we're here right now. So
yeah, they have the best record in the whole league, and they just keep, every time they lose a few games, they come right back and win 3 or 4 more.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe they won't win the World Series this year. I mean, that seems unlikely, but then again, they do have the best record in the league, and they just keep cranking prospects out. So, I mean, you got a pretty good chance here soon. And Austin Hedges just walked. So, I mean, we're watching something special right now. Austin Hedges is currently on base.
He's I feel like you've been picking on Austin Hedges for a while here.
Long time.
So, that's Bo is one of my is a pet project of mine. I feel like when the light bulb goes on for him, he's not, you know, there's his personality, what all he brings as a glue guy and everything. You just want him to be consistent. You want him to figure it out. I've been having a conversation with my pops, and my pops, I think he's over Bo Naylor at this point in time.
It's only one bad season.
Yeah. So as a whole,
give him time.
As a unit, you know, like I feel like this team, I feel like people are not afraid to fall in love with them again. Because
no, I'd give Bo time.
Well, no, the team as a whole, I feel like Cleveland is. Yeah, I feel like Cleveland's not afraid to fall in love with them.
No, man, they've been good for so long.
Yeah, but there was always a cap to it because of the unwillingness to spend and you know, and so this year it feels different. It feels like
I busted balls on the board just because of the specific guys who would get angry about it for a long time, but that never bothered me. because they've been so successful in spite of the spending. And the reality is, how many World Series have the Yankees won?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
With all the money they spend, you know?
Yeah. So
I'll take my Guards.
We're locked in on a pennant race with the Guards mid-August, and it really feels like, because the Twins and the Royals are not going anywhere. So it really feels like you're going to have to hold on to your butts.
They absolutely do.
For the next 2 months.
Yes.
As well as we've seen them play, those dudes, the Twins and the Royals both, the Royals specifically, because they're playing for something, because this is the last hurrah for Salvador Perez.
Both of those teams have better offenses than the Guards, too.
Yeah. But it's just something. There's a collective medal that these dudes got. So it's going to be fun baseball down the stretch right here. And then, for the next couple of weeks, as we get ready to kick off this NFL season, it's going to be fun watching these dudes continue to come together, just want to stay healthy. We got to touch real quick on the reason why we even got together, and that's these Cavs. So there's absolutely no news on that front. And the irony to the Olympics being this summer and then bringing us into football season, I've been okay with it because I'm genuinely just looking forward to what Atkinson is going to implement. I know a lot of people are like, there's no way you can just upgrade the coach and think everything is going to change because players still don't mix this way or that way. I truly believe that, and I don't know if you've seen this or not, Jig, but have you seen some of these JBB interviews recently?
How recent?
So he just had one with Richard Jefferson. And he also had one. There was another podcast where he kind of came out and said he was some things about he's been kind of alluding to some things about the Cavs on the sly without saying.
I haven't seen anything. It's been a couple months. I haven't seen it since a week.
Yeah. So if you get a chance on YouTube, and I think it's only maybe 20 minutes or so, there's a whole Richard Jefferson and JBB episode. And I come away from it I've always been he's likable enough when he's doing interviews and stuff, but I feel like there were enough little subtle things during the interview because he was singing. He actually was like, Gores gives me everything I want, and working with Gores and Langdon, I'm so excited now because I know that we're all in alignment. Little things like that I was just kind of
he's doing that bullshit.
Yeah, keep doing that because it makes it's gonna make that much more sweeter. We know for a fact he wasn't equipped to coach that next level. And what we don't know if Kenny is yet, but I have a good feeling that he might be. So it's going to make it that much sweeter, when we see these dudes turning around. And when you just see a coach who makes better use of everybody's skill set and tools and stuff, that's going to make it that much sweeter. So the only cherry that could have been put on top is if somebody like Kevin Love, Kevy Kev came back home and got used properly. But we'll see.
To see Kev come back.
We still got a couple more. We got a couple more months, and there's still moves that have to be made before the season starts. So, we can afford to wait since we got a pennant race, and you don't want them to make any mistakes. So, being patient. Let Kenny cook. So,
I want to see couple things. I want to see Kevin Love come home. Actually.
If you can re-say that, we just lost you for a second with your network.
Oh, I want to see Kevin Love come home.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I do. I would love to see that. I'd love to see Ice get shipped out.
Don't get me started talking about that because both Isa and Levert, if I had my way before the season even started, to be honest with you.
I don't know where Levert's gonna fit in, man. I see no way. We're gonna try to find a rookie playing time too. You're gonna try to find another playing time.
Really quickly, I've had a couple weeks to chew on this.
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited for both Jalen Tyson and for Luke Travers.
How are we Luke in there too?
Honestly, I kind of want to clear out Ice and Levert just so I can see what these two dudes can contribute. And
I want to see
give
those
them
dudes so.
Yeah.
I want to trade. So I think for LeVert, you could get back at minimum. I gotta think you could get 3rd-round pick.
I
What's his
honestly,
value? What's his street value right now?
I there's guys on the board that will be really upset that we disparage LeVert, but I
like LeVert, but he's clogging things up now. He's clogging things up.
He was clogging things up maybe like a year.
I know he was, but now he's clogging the roster up. I know he was clogging the floor up.
Yeah. So before the season starts, if we can get some consolidation on those two, because I really want to see these. I really want to see these two kids, Tyson and Travers. These two. You remember that movie, The Program, the college football movie, with those two linebackers who were both doing drugs and they were like Bash brothers kind of thing. That's how I envisioned Tyson and Travers coming into the season. They were like wing brothers. And I just flying around, just creating havoc kind of thing. So
Tyson was quite well liked over the
summer league.
Yeah.
Definitely mature beyond his years.
Which is exactly what you're looking for, which means to me, I want to see him in the regular season showing everything Ice has not.
Yep. Well, my brother, I think we have officially potted this thing up. We touched on
Yes, we have.
We touched on some inappropriate Olympic feedback touch points. We touched on the Browns gear, revving up their engine, getting the season started. We did not just now really quickly, and I didn't mean to just not do this, but JOK, extremely happy that he's locked in.
Me too.
With the things he's had to overcome, his brother, I think was at the beginning of the last season, his brother was killed. It feels like when that happened, the game slowed down for him, and he just became like this dominant middle linebacker. Like one of the best in the AFC North. Like on every level on our defense. So we got, without a doubt, the best defensive lineman, pass rusher in the AFC North in the league. Then we got one of the best middle linebackers with JOK, and then in that secondary, with Denzel being a top 3 cornerback in the league, but then also with Martin Emerson. I don't know if you saw a video of him today with him covering Justin Jefferson and really holding his own a little bit. But so excited about that. And then this guards pennant race that you're getting updates and stuff on. Did Hedges just score? Is that what just happened?
No, they're you heard that?
Yeah.
No, it was just a strikeout. Cubs struck out. It's getting a little hot and heavy right now. Cubs have a guy on 3rd.
All right.
Strikeout. We're up 3. So it's a pretty big game.
Yeah. I always want to kill the Cubs because of what they did with that World Series.
Absolutely.
Never forgive them for that.
Absolutely.
So I think we have officially potted this up for an off-season thing, just to get in here, make sure everybody knew these voices are still working and that we got you guys covered as this season gets started. Guards, Browns, enjoy this little couple of weeks, and we'll have the good guys back on the court pretty soon here. But for Jig and Rich, how do you want to sign us off, Jig?
How do I want to sign it off? I don't know. I don't know if I have anything. I don't have anything clever or anything like that.
Like usually it's sitting right there. You don't have any.
I know. I usually do have something sitting right there.
Any dad jokes or anything you want to sign us off with?
Oh, no dad jokes. I was just going to quickly say I went to a fun concert over the weekend.
Okay.
I don't have an album. We went to it's actually the 3rd time we've seen this band called the Struts. They're fun.
The Struts?
Kind of raunchy. STRUTS.
Okay.
You're not going to listen to them and learn anything new. They're a good time.
Okay.
They're like Andrew WK.
I remember that party all the time.
Queen. So like you're not going to listen to it and come away and be like, oh wow, that was heavy. That was really deep. You're just going to come away and you're going to be like, oh, that was fucking fun. I want to drink like a beer. Super fun. So that'll be a quick recommendation. Just look them up. pop some on top songs on Amazon Prime, and if you don't like them, fuck off. That's
All right. The
not you,
struts.
not you
Yeah.
specifically, just anybody
I'm
else.
okay with that. Like if you feel some type of way about your music, you gotta plant your flag. I'm down with that.
That's how I feel about that band, and that's kind of how I think they feel about fans in general. No, they really are fun. Yeah, but that's I almost forgot to recommend them, so that would
That's
be
crazy that you said Andrew WK, because the moment that you started describing them,
sound like that.
first name. Well, you said the Struts first, so I was thinking like, are they like a knockoff Strokes? Then you said Andrew WK, and I was like, oh, that was like 99, 2000. Like I just remember what I think that was 99, 2000.
Yes, exactly around that.
Yeah.
They don't sound anything like him. But
Okay.
if you recall him, it was like the same
Just
thing. It
having
was
a
all
good time.
party.
Yeah.
Whereas like with these guys, the lead singer looks like Freddie Mercury. Their music sounds like the more poppy Queen stuff, which is clearly intentional. And it's definitely like party,
Where are
fun
they from?
music. And it's just, that's it. You just
Where are
get
they
in
from?
there,
Where are the
jump
Struts
around.
from?
They're from somewhere somewhere in Britain.
Okay.
They're really fun. I would challenge anybody to go to one of their concerts and dislike them.
It says the first thing when I typed it in, it said Nashville. I don't know if they're on their way.
Derbyshire, from Derbyshire.
All right, the Struts. They're on tour right now. So
well, we just saw him.
Like Freddie Mercury. 100%.
He looks just like Freddie Mercury.
He does.
They're in Derbyshire, England, and they would be considered glam rock, which would mean it's like new glam rock, because glam rock was a type of music from the 80s, which would have kind of birthed Van Halen and Bon Jovi and all those guys.
The top hit is Could Have Been Me.
That's one of their top hits. They've got probably a good 10, 12 fun songs.
I'm going to check them out. I'm going to check them out on your recommendation.
Check them out. See what you think.
Yeah.
If you don't like them.
My last piece, and I know we keep saying, oh, I'm out of here. And there's like, oh, one more thing.
Well, you always got to talk. It's fun.
Over the course of a month, I've watched 6 seasons of Sons of Anarchy. I don't know why. I don't know why I never watched it. I'm tired of Jax like getting upset and raising his voice every single episode.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
I've never seen it. I was just curious what you think.
It's actually it's pretty solid. It's not I'm coming off of watching stuff like, really layered and complex. And it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward shooting. It's not like a Sopranos, it's not like a Succession. It's not like any of those that make you think. It's just what you get. It's like right there in front of you.
Sometimes it's nice.
And that's cool sometimes, because it's just like hey, this is a biker version of that, with these dudes breaking the law. And ultimately, the first season, I didn't think it was going to be as deadly as it ends up being, but it was like, man, like season 3 or so, you didn't have a single episode where somebody didn't get knocked off. So it's pretty good.
Peg Bundy.
It's like what?
Peg Bundy's on it, isn't she?
Yeah, no, she's like the main, like she's, which is weird because she's had surgery and scaled down certain things and stuff. And it's just like, that's still Peg Bundy though.
Still Peg Bundy.
Still Peg Bundy. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty good watch. It's pretty funny. I've never, wanted to be like a motorcycle club. So it's different from that standpoint, because I'm like, oh, this is and they cover a lot of stuff. It's aging well. So I think it was maybe like 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that's about right.
But it seems kind of current to me as I'm watching it right now. But I blew through it. Like I feel like I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes a day, and I'm about to wrap it up here. But it's worth a watch if you jump in there and watch it. So good TV.
Got to throw out a last thing now, since you mentioned this. Damn it, because this is what happens when it's been a while. Did I recommend What We Do in the Shadows? Did we happen to do a show where I recommended the show What We Do in the Shadows?
I don't think so.
Oh my
I think the last time we did a show before the drafting, you were talking about a book, if I'm not mistaken.
Was I?
What We Do in the
Probably
Shadows.
Dune. Was I talking about Dune?
I think you were, because I was like, I'm gonna watch the second one. Like you said, the second one is better than the first one, but I should watch both of them.
I haven't watched either movie.
Oh,
I watched part of the first movie, and I haven't watched any of the second one. But I've read most of the first book. It's going to take me 3 years to finish.
that's what I think. That's what you were saying. The Dune book.
Still haven't read the first book. I'm still
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
What about
it? It is hilarious. It is hilarious. It is about. It's like a mockumentary about a family of vampires who all came back from different eras of world history and live in I can't remember which borough of New York. Maybe some Staten Island, maybe.
Right.
Something like that, but they don't realize like that it's like just like shitty New York. And hijinks ensue basically, but it's very well written. And it's the guy from Flight of the Conchords. Have you ever seen that? So it's very nichey kind of funny humor, and it's just really clever, really funny, really well
TV
acted.
show or movie? What We Do in the Shadows.
TV show. It's a maybe 6 seasons or something like that. Still going. And the actors are I don't think you'd know.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Anybody from looking at them necessarily. The one guy you might not know any of them, honestly. Tailbone hurts.
This is on FX.
Yes, but you can also get it on Amazon Prime if you're willing to pay.
All right. What We Do in the Shadows doesn't suck on NPR. That's a review that they did on NPR.
Yeah. A little bit of wordplay there.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. That's pretty funny. All right. I think we have officially potted this thing up.
Now we have.
Yeah. The Struts, Sons of Anarchy, if you haven't touched it, and What We Do in the Shadows.
That's right.
For music and movie recommendations. So enjoy this August, my brother. Like we should be committed to jumping back on here before the season starts.
Yes, 100%.
As this guard season winds down, I think there's going to be some. It's going to be a pretty intense race. So we'll 100%. Jump back on here. 100%. From Jig and Rich, Rubber Rim Jobs, signing off. Yeah.
Good job, man.